Good morning and welcome to your daily morning horoscope for Thursday 21st May 2026 Aries. You could be wondering why everyone has been so serious and emotional all of a sudden. You're likely to be feeling this way too. Take it as a reminder that there are many walks of life and not all of them necessarily intersect your path. Those forces are apt to make themselves known in quite a traumatic fashion, so prepare to defend yourself and your motives. Taurus, don't put up with anyone's shenanigans today. Your time is too precious and your energy is too powerful to waste on those who see you as fair weather friends or emotional crutches. Concentrate on your own problems. If someone has a sob story, tell him or her exactly what you think. No need to pad the honest truth with a bunch of stuff just because the other person might feel good. Gemini, you may have the intellectual side of the equation completely set in your head. You've collected all the facts and have all the data worked out in such a way that it's impossible for you to fall at calculations. Don't think you're done, because there's one part of the picture left to consider: emotions. Extreme feelings could put a monkey wrench in your plans, so please be prepared. Cancer, other people might have a hard time navigating through the day thanks to the intensity and corruption that's likely to surface. You have nothing to worry about because your adaptable nature is perfectly suited in dealing with the stubborn forces that are likely to rear their heads. This is a good time to clean out your closet and throw away things that you no longer need. Leo, secure your bunker and make sure it's fully stocked with heavy artillery because there is bound to be a battle soon. Trust that you need to be fully prepared in order to enter the fight today, because you do. There are some battles that you actually like and the ones that get things rolling and produce results. It will soon become clear which type it is. Virgo, you tend to get quite emotional about things even though you don't always show it prominently to the outside world. The difference today is that more people are likely to be openly acting out of their emotions, so you in return could feel safer about expressing yours to the people around you. Have faith that you will find people who share similar opinions today. Libra, if situations get too hot and heavy, your first instinct is to run away or jump to the next subject before anyone notices you're avoiding the serious one. That's one way to deal with today's intensity, but deep down you know it isn't the best. What you really need to do is dig deep and take advantage of this emotional energy to thoroughly take care of things instead of skim them over. Scorpio, your actions today could take an investigative approach. You're able to probe much more deeply than usual as you search people's eyes for the answers you seek. Feel free to take aggressive action based on your gut instincts. Use your powerful emotions as a tool instead of something that holds you back. People may come to you for advice, and you're in the perfect position to give it. Sagittarius, your courageous strength and desire to take a leadership role may be threatening to others today. Be careful of automatically assuring that dominant position before leaning into what people feel. You could make some drastic mistakes if you don't watch out for the well-being of others. Things could get quite emotional, so beware of the potential flare-ups. Capricorn, you can cut through the truth quite easily today, so don't hesitate to do so. If you come to an intersection and no one seems to know who should go next, take the initiative and go. It might not be the bad idea to signal your intentions to the other drivers before you make your move. Being aggressive with your actions doesn't mean you have to be reckless. Aquarius, you may want to keep your ship on an even keel today, but remember that no matter how hard you try, this simply might not be possible. The wind is blowing pretty hard and you might just have to trim your sails and go full speed ahead. You'll move more quickly, but it also means that you'll be more prone to capsizing, so please take it light. Pisces, this is the day to shine in many aspects. The action you take is right on target, so draw back your arrow as far as you can and let it fly. There is a quiet strength to your being that comes out occasionally. When it does, people will note it for miles around. Today gives you the opportunity to display your incredible strength and passion to the world, so please don't hold back. This has been your daily morning horoscope for Thursday 21st May 2026. Do have yourself a great day.
Hi and good morning. Welcome to our show, the DBS Morning Show, right here on DBS with me, Maureen. Of course, it's Thursday morning, We got some exciting features for you, well, interesting features, some to jog your memory and, to just create awareness as well. All of that and more is coming. But first, let's go on over to our news department and let's see what we're working with. And thank you to everybody for the birthday greetings yesterday as well. Let's see what the newsroom has.
Good morning. Time now for the news. I'm Timothy Polion. Police are intensifying efforts to crack down on violent crime as investigators work to solve a series of recent homicide cases across the island. From the discovery of a decomposed body in La Panse to the swift arrest of a suspect following a fatal shooting in Masad, law enforcement officials are sending a strong message that those responsible will be found and brought to justice.
During the arrest, a 9mm pistol with 2 rounds of ammunition was found in his possession. Investigations into this matter are ongoing, and further updates will be provided subsequently. The executive of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force would like to commend the officers of the Grizzly Police Divisional Headquarters for their hard work and dedication in pursuit of the suspect.
Commissioner God adds that police have already seized several illegal firearms and quantities of ammunition this year, maintaining momentum following last year's record-breaking weapon interceptions. He noted that officers confiscated more than 11,000 rounds of ammunition in 2025 alone, emphasizing that every round removed from the streets represents a potential life saved. Crime and public safety, meanwhile, are now taking center stage in discussions about St. Lucia's economic future. Business leaders and top police officials came together Wednesday for a high-level dialogue focused on tackling criminal activity, strengthening security, and protecting the country's business environment from growing disruptions.
Sometimes we have a little skepticism that the police are not doing what they should, and I think today we're sort of being reassured that in fact behind the scenes there's a lot of work going on. There's a lot of plans. The commissioner is, he has 127 points of action that he wants to look at. They're showing great competence, but they wanted to show us that in fact there is a lot going on behind the scenes, and we're seeing that today. They're bringing some of it forward. Obviously some of it is confidential, but I think it's just a reassurance for the business community, and of course we will then have the opportunity to express to them what our concerns are and how they intend to address them.
Commissioner God says combating crime requires strong collaboration between law enforcement and key sectors of the society. He stressed the importance of building partnerships with local organizations, including the Chamber of Commerce, to help investigators better understand and address criminal activity. St. Lucia's Fire Service is taking emergency preparedness directly into communities across the island. With emergency calls on the rise and resources stretched, officials are now equipping citizens with critical first aid and fire prevention skills, empowering ordinary people to step in before first responders arrive. The initiative is also encouraging more St. Lucians to explore careers in healthcare and emergency services.
The intention is to bring this drive throughout the width and breadth of St. Lucia. We've tried to cover every community. Now, we started sometime last year and we decided to continue. So we will be doing the West Coast ancillary canneries. We will be doing Castries, Babonneau, Dennery, Viewport, and also Suffren. The intention is to empower our people in St. Lucia.
The certification program will cover CPR, wound management, choking response, snake bite treatment, and fire safety procedures. The St. Lucia Fire Service says it remains committed to ensuring safety, preparedness, and timely intervention remain top priorities for communities across the island. Finally, from us this morning, concerns are growing over the safety of educators after a secondary school principal became the target of vandalism earlier this week. The incident has now sparked urgent calls for parents to take greater responsibility for their children's behavior, as school officials warn that threats against the teachers and administrators are becoming increasingly alarming.
A student saw nothing else to do but to be involved in vandalizing the property of an educator. This educator happened to be me. I was at my home on Monday evening when I heard a loud crashing sound. And the following day, I realized that there were two stones actually near my vehicle, one of my vehicles. It was only later on in the day that I realized that the stones were sent by students of another school aimed at my property, at my vehicle.
The principal says he has already contacted the parents and the relevant authorities. He also confirmed that no legal action will be pursued at this time. That's the broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Join us at noon for our next news major, the Lunchtime Report. I'm Timothy Polio. Good morning.
Thanks, guys. We need to take a short break. We'll be right back. We brought you Judith. We went down into the boulevard and we brought you some excitement with Judith, and we had a little sit down with Judith and her Mother's Day and all of that. We got some excitement from Judith, but it will be definitely remiss of us not to highlight the two women who were the pillars behind ensuring that this recognition happened, and sort of like giving back the flowers. So we sat down with Sasha and Belinda, and they were the two mastermind because they spend time with Judith in town every Saturday as well. So they were the one who were responsible for putting together that whole, give back to Judith. So we had a sit down with them. Let me tell you about Good Samaritan. There's so many things happening, so many negative energy, so many negative, so many unscrupulous things that we could highlight when the day comes around. And boy, have the media been highlighting them. But there's also a lot of really good things that is happening among regular people that is just kind-hearted and just doing simple, kind things that is impacting in so much ways. And these two ladies here, Belinda here, pretty girl, and of course Sasha over here, another pretty girl, right here in Castries. Every Saturday, I'm told that, they devote their time. And they were the ones who started the initiative to give back to Auntie Judith. Listen, I want to ask first, what made you guys finally decide, no man, we need to do this at this level?
Well, we see every day. We come here before when we used to come every week, every day in the week. We would see her on a Wednesday, we'll see her on a Saturday.
Right.
And she would usually be here before us. And no matter what time we come, hey, Belinda, how was your time? You sleep well? Belinda, if I tell you. And she would see me and she'll go, Sasha, honey, how did you sleep? Like, she'll just brighten your morning.
Aww.
And when we finally got to know recently the extent that what she's going through and how much she's taking in, and she's still able to bring that joy, it just kind of broke us to know that we're there. She's the one who's lifting up our mornings at times. Sometimes sales are so dead, and that will give us some jokes and we'll start to laugh. And we're getting to know that
you had to do something. You were prompted. What about you, Belinda? Same thing?
Yeah.
Wow. I understand that you all go beyond that as well. Every Saturday, I think you always make sure mommy get all the sharing lunch.
Yeah.
Humanity is still very much alive. These are things you all didn't get up and decide to plan this thing. This is just normal humanity taking its course right here amongst citizens, human being. And many a times we are prompted to believe that those things are no longer. People are so selfish these days, but you know how beautiful it is to see that there's actually human, that it's just natural to them to just be human and just show human decency.
Yeah.
What do you think the world need more of that, man? What is your opinion on that matter, like in general? Because how much does it take from you guys to do that, to be nice to mommy when the day comes? Nothing really. Not a lot, eh? I'm Belinda just laughing.
Yeah, not a lot.
Yeah. So if everybody decide to just one day just identify somebody and just do a little kind deed, it will go a long way, innit? You see how much mommy cry? Mommy make my eyelash pop.
Cry a lot.
I may tell you, Auntie Judy, they make the eyelash triple flip on me there because tears.
Yeah. We just sat down there and just say, let's give us something for Mother's Day.
Oh gosh. That was really, really beautiful and brilliant of you guys. Does it stop there for you guys? Now that you realize the impact, I know you guys just did this purely out of your heart. But now that you realize that the impact of doing little things like that, it is something that you're compelled, or you think you've been moved to probably now go into a little bit more often, or you just appreciate the authenticity of it naturally, organically, instead of forcing to do it. Just let it happen naturally. What do you think?
I prefer to happen naturally.
Yes.
Now, especially given the fact that we seen that's like the neighborhood mom.
Right.
This is like our vendor mother. You come there and she will
Absolutely.
check on any and everybody.
Right.
Vendors across the street, vendors lower down, vendors down there. She would always ask, "How's the family? How you doing?" She's like your neighborhood mother.
Right.
So it's when we heard that, we're like, so for Mother's Day, we said we're gonna be the ones as her children. She considered it's like we're like her children, so we're definitely gonna give her something.
Right. Right. No. I'm gonna ask you what I asked Belinda again in terms of societal wise. If everybody just be a little bit more present, pay attention, see, be in tune with who is around you. Giving back a little, showing a little extra love, putting a little effort into appreciating people whilst they're still alive. What do you think the world is gonna be?
Oh, it's definitely going to be a better place. Definitely. It doesn't have to be something big, and it doesn't have to take an occasion for you to do it.
Absolutely.
It can be someone that's just in the neighborhood. It can be a neighbor. It doesn't necessarily have to be a relative. It can just be that one person you've noticed. Sometimes that person has actually had an impact on your life, or that person you've gotten to know their situation, and you can help.
Absolutely.
Once it's within your power, help.
Definitely. As simple as that, Listen now, give flowers before people gone. Understand? Some people dead. Don't play with me. But ladies, thank you so much for just being simply human. That is so refreshing in this time. Thank you. Thank you for reminding us that humanity does exist. Thank you so very much to both of you. Thank you. Oh, can I get a group hug? Yay! Our next two features, we are going to be spending some time on the Lupus Association and on lupus, because I didn't even remember, that the month of May is actually the Lupus Awareness Month. So we had the opportunity and the privilege to have a sit down with Dr. Amanda King, who is the president and founder of the St. Lucia Lupus Association. Hypertension, is it? They're linked, somewhat, and lupus. And she enlightened us in so many ways. There's so many things that I did not know and understand when it comes to lupus. And I'm sure the conversations that we're about to have will help, to guide us, help to make us more aware, and hopefully help to get us a little bit more active and involved. Dr. King, thank you for coming through to enlighten us this morning. Of course, awareness is needed, so I'm glad you're making yourself available for that as well, to ensure that more persons are aware of what exactly is lupus, how it affects us, in terms of stats, if you've got the number in terms of stats, what are some of the signs? What triggers some of these? You're just informing me that arthritis and lupus are linked. Did you know that? I doubt you do. I didn't know that. Yeah. So that's information to me as well. So certainly there's a lot for us to learn.
Yeah,
it's a lot for us to learn.
Recently, because I'm here representing SLALA, the St. Lucia Arthritis and Lupus Association. Recently, we had a town hall meeting as part of May Lupus Awareness Month.
Right.
And one of the patients who were on the panel was saying, people said to her, lupus is just a rash and you don't have it, right? Lupus is not just a rash, and sometimes there's no rash, right? So it can be lots of things.
Okay, well, I'm glad that your department or your institution has seen the need, because there is a lot of non-information, misguided information when it comes to lupus. Yes. So break it down for us. What is lupus?
Lupus is a chronic autoimmune disease where your immune system, which is supposed to be protecting you, is actually attacking the healthy tissues and causing inflammation and then damage if the inflammation is not dealt with quickly.
Oh my.
Right? And it's the sort of what they call the prototype of systemic autoimmune diseases. It's the best example of a condition, an autoimmune condition that can affect every system in the body, right? But it most commonly affects, usually it causes extreme fatigue, right? That's one of the main symptoms, but it's not one of the criteria for diagnosing it. There are many causes of fatigue, but that's one of the commonest symptoms. And then it's joint pains or arthritis and rashes. Those are the most common. But the most severe are the kidneys, the kidney inflammation. So it actually is one of the leading reasons, unfortunately, for dialysis, which means you've got damage because the inflammation was not dealt with properly for many reasons. And that's where we need the awareness, so that we can prevent that, because it is preventable.
That's what I'm going to... Do we know what causes lupus? Can you identify, or is it lupus a hereditary thing, or how does it work?
Yeah. So like most chronic conditions, chronic non-communicable diseases, there is a genetic and an environmental, they call it epigenetic, different things. There are environmental triggers and causes. So yes, it does run in families, and it may not be that, like we do have data, and like 1 in 6 patients will have a sibling or a parent or a child with lupus. So it is in families, but it's also environmental. So one of our biggest triggers is stress. Right? Believe it or not, stress, because everything is interrelated, and that's where the good news comes in as to how we can manage and prevent triggering and so on.
Right.
If we can manage stress better. And there are many things to do about that on both a personal level and even a governmental, social level, etc., economic level, right? But so there's stress, there's excess sunlight. So some people with lupus do often have a sensitivity to the sun. They might get rashes in the sun. So if you've been out on a boat all day or something, you go on a cruise, something like that, or you're just in the sun on the beach, it can trigger it. So there's that. It's much more common in women and much more common in black women than in white women.
Is there
black, Hispanic, Asian.
Is there any link to why that is? So
that again is genetic and environmental. So the data from the US will show that it is, and the UK, everywhere, it is much more common genetically, and there are many genes that are associated with lupus. It's not like one gene, and so it is much more. It's often people with lupus, black patients with lupus are often younger, right, than white patients. So in St. Lucia, our average age of onset of lupus is like 32 in women and 28 in men.
Wow.
Right? So young, but it's anywhere. The main range is 15 to 44. So we're talking about the reproductive age group. Women, often single women, mothers, carers, productive people. Right? And so now what we have, and the most recent data from the CDC as well, with population studies of over 50,000 women, you see that actually lupus is in the top 10 causes of death. And this, I want people to listen to the end of this, because it's not all bad, it's not all doom and gloom, right? At all. There are things we can do, and it's exciting times really for lupus now. But in the age group, like 15 to 24, it's number 5 cause of death in black women in the US, after murder, accidents, suicide, things like that.
Wow. I did mention it was 2 of our features this morning. We spent some time there because I believe the information is vital. So we got some more on lupus with Dr. King again. How would you know if you have, because you said most people say, oh, you don't have rash, so I don't have a rash. How would I know if I have lupus?
Right, so there are criteria that are used to diagnose lupus. But so the main thing is a young woman who is feeling extra tired and achy, right? And probably having a bit of a rash. The typical rash is a malar rash, a butterfly rash. That's why you see the butterfly as the symbol of lupus across the face, right? And so joint pains, maybe inflammation in the joints, rashes, tiredness, those are the most common. But also in a doctor's office, if you know, like we always do the urine dipstick, if you see protein, then it's important to look for what is the cause of that protein, because actually there's now with the new class, they keep changing classification criteria to try and diagnose earlier, because the earlier diagnosis, the better in terms of management. So actually, it's if you have like 4 out of the criteria, there's clinical criteria, like things like that. It can affect any organ, as I said. So the criteria go from hair loss, patchy hair loss, to brain problems. So there are about 19 different, what they call neuropsychiatric manifestations of lupus. So things like brain fog and those things are common, not as severe as things like fits, seizures, psychosis. So you can think that a young woman has gone crazy. You don't send her necessarily to a mental institution. She may have lupus, and actually you treat the lupus and the schizophrenia, the psychosis together, and she's better. And we've had many patients.
There's so many linkages.
Yeah, we've had many patients who have young women, and they're better after treatment of their lupus, and they never look back and have any problem with their brain. But if you stigmatize them and say they're mad,
you've treating the wrong thing.
And this is a young person you've labeled for life. Yeah.
But in terms of, someone has been diagnosed with lupus, can they get well again, like ever? Like, can they get rid of lupus?
Yes. So
it's possible?
It's all about living well. So lupus does not define you, doesn't define your life. We all have challenges, right? So life is a challenge, and lupus is it's a difficult challenge, but it's just a challenge in somebody's life, right? So there are good ways to live well with that. And you can be healthier than the person sitting next to you who may not have anything like that, because you have identified the issue and you're dealing with it well. You're accepting it. You first have to accept it.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are still fighting that and saying, I hate my lupus. No, it's better not to hate your lupus. Better to embrace it and say, this is part of me and I am going to live well with this, which is why we actually started. We were the first in the Caribbean to introduce Stanford University's self-management program in 2002 through SLALA. Nice. Which is to help improve what they call self-efficacy, your belief that you can make a difference in your own life to become a positive self-manager.
I love this.
So it's a holistic approach that we need. So what they've noticed now, and that's why I was saying it's exciting, because there's more and more data about, for example, ultra-processed foods will trigger lupus, will cause lupus. So the sort of diets we've been fed as
normal, it's not normal thing, is it?
Yes. So the fast food and so on is really not good. We need to stay away from processed foods. So the idea is real food, which we have in St. Lucia, and I know people will say it's too expensive. We need to work with Ministry of Agriculture, etc. In terms of kitchen gardens. You say you don't have space. There's always a solution. There's vertical gardens. Put things up on your wall.
Put a little 2 drums up on
right? There's always something. But of course, it's about time and everything as well. But we all need to work together to be more healthy. They've found that there's a bacteria that I can name one called ruminococcus in the mouth that actually causes lupus.
Ooh.
There's one that causes rheumatoid arthritis. There's more than one, but they just identified. I can give you names, right? So it means if we have better dental health, that is one approach, right? So if we take care of our teeth and our gums, and we prevent cavities and so on, then that will help prevent not just lupus, but everything I say about lupus is for other chronic diseases as well. Diabetes, dementia, all sorts of things. Right? So it's very important that we have better dental health services, but personal dental care as well, right?
Absolutely.
So that's one thing that's newer and important for people to realize that they can do without cost.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then how we eat. So yogurts, for example, that not all yogurts, some yogurts are bad. But some yogurts are good, the ones that have the live cultures. So that's good if you can tolerate it, and not everybody likes it. And then there's fermented foods that they talk about that are good for you. But really, if you can't, you can make some of these yourself, so it's not so expensive. But you can also really try to grow and have local foods and leave out especially sugar and flour, right? So things like that.
Processed foods.
Yes. There is an activity coming up. I'd love to see people join that. There's a walk, Stride for Lupus,
Right.
on the 24th of May,
Okay.
starting at 6 o'clock at Quartz Marisil to Pigeon Point.
Nice.
Put on your sunscreen and
Yes.
join them. Put on your T-shirt.
Yes, man.
And so if you look, you'll see it's like, I think, $30 for
Registration, the
registration,
package.
$20
Okay.
for children, etc.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And we took it back into the traffic to wrap things up this morning. We just wanted to take the opportunity, as we give you food for thought when we wrap up our morning show every single day. We wanted to take it back to the roads and our drivers and our road users. We just wanted to call to your mind and your mindset again about the importance of road safety, ensuring your vehicles are properly maintained before you go out on the road with them. So this is the thing I wanted to call to mind this morning. So food for thought this morning: ensure that you're a responsible road user. And secondly, if you've got a vehicle on the road, ensure that your oils are checked, your brakes are checked, all of the parts, the working parts are checked to make sure that you put out proper vehicle on the road that is going to make life safe for all of us. All right, enjoy your day. All of the motorists, have an awesome day today. My good friend over at Leclerc, the Leclerc bus drivers, I want to big up you guys specifically this morning, and all the rest of you guys, drivers, have an awesome day. See you guys again tomorrow right here for another VBS this morning.